It was here that I met the highly acclaimed and talented author, Barbara G. Walker, whose first work on feminist spirituality in 1981, the Women's Encyclopedia of Myths and Secrets, was celebrated. So they started this whole full moon circle. She didn't start it, but they started it in celebration of her research and work and knowledge of women's rituals. This monthly moon group was inspired to begin by this historical book of Barbara's and the feminist members of the fellowship, and was the basis for many women to gather and share knowledge and ritual in a safe and sacred space. When I joined this non-hierarchical and loose association in 1989, my life shifted to a new place of love and grace as we honored each other as a woman and a goddess. I learned how to set intentions, utilizing group energy and sealing them with a cone of power. I learned about calling in the directions and sharing the talking stick, and my absolute favorite ceremony, the passing of the sacred blessing cup, where each woman received and gave a blessing in a circle. We could do this for ourselves by each taking on a tiny role of priestess. This made my heart and soul sing as I first felt the divine power of the goddess within. Yay! And then the three songs that are on your CD that were inspired by this part of my life are The Heart of a Woman, Calling All Directions, and By the Earth. From there I discovered Woman Gathering, an annual festival sponsored by Lee Galanton in Pennsylvania. I was hired by Lee to work with the young girls with the lovely fairy energy that had discovered me in the early 1990s and still works through me as a presenter at fairy festivals, kids' parties, and actually for all ages. And it was around the same time that I also discovered the science of mind teachings at the First Church of Religious Science, also in Morristown, New Jersey. It's now known as the Center for Spiritual Living, Morristown. For the first time ever, I felt comfortable in a church and religious setting and actually became an enthusiastic member. This was due to the fact that in Science of Mind and these teachings, we are not told what to think, but we are taught how to think. What an empowering difference for me, and I am so very grateful for this wonderful languaging that shows up in my life and in my original songs to this day. And the songs that are inspired by this aspect of my spirituality are Shekhinah, Goddess Guide Us, God is the Sun, Goddess is the Earth, and Conscious Communion. Not long after this, in 1995, I was invited to present music at a little store in Mendocino, California. Pacific Moonrise Herbs was owned and operated by Nympha Cole. That's her real name, Nympha. She's Italian. Nympha. A wise woman that I had met in the 80s in northern New Jersey at the fabulous Peters Valley craft shows, where I was a regular performer for years. Nympha and her husband Roy had a little seasonal shop at Barnegat Lake down the shore in New Jersey, where they sold wonderfully crafted essential oils, herbs, and other goodies. Once they moved to Northern California, I had a home base from which to work. In 1998, Nympha gently pushed me to present a musical ritual at her then annual event, the Gathering of the Woman Clan, held at the greatly missed and sweetly remembered Hearts and Hands Retreat Center in Albion, California. It was there that I met Marilyn Mother Bear Scott, another wise woman who invited me to participate and present at her annual Goddess Gather, held first at Jug Handle Creek Farm in Mendocino County, and then moved to Isis Oasis, a unique retreat center in Geyserville, California. And unique is the word for that place. Isis Oasis is also the home of the temple of the goddess Isis and is a sanctuary for many birds, cats, and other animals. When I first went there, they had a unicorn. You know, they had one of the goats that they had her, Dolly, I think her name was. It was here where I was introduced to Lady Lorian, the reigning high priestess and sweetly eccentric owner of Isis Oasis. I had a defining moment with her when she put a baby ocelot in my arms to hold. And then I said, do stop in if you're traveling in Northern California. And it's like a hotel. You could go and stay there. And they feed you, and it's funky and cool. It's an awesome place. Lady Lorian, who she passed away in 2014, offered me a scholarship in becoming an ordained priestess in the Temple of Isis by submitting my spiritual biography. It was quite something to go back in time in my mind and acknowledge all the people, classes, ritual, festivals, and events that have helped shape me into a priestess. And I was ordained on 10-10-10. And the song that comes from that period is Gather for the Goddess. It was also in the mid-1990s that I met Eclipse Nielsen at Woman Gathering in Pennsylvania. That's how I met Guru Namne too. She invited me to participate and present at Women's Circles, another annual event that had been taking place for many years in late August at Roe Camp and Conference Center in the Berkshire Mountains in Massachusetts. It was here that I was given the title and job of Fairy Priestess, and was amazed at the fabulous sisterhood that continues to develop and grow with these lovely women. Eclipse is a wonderful visionary and channel as she opens herself to a different goddess to come through her as the new theme each year at Women's Circles, which has recently evolved into Women's Soul. So they still have Women's Circles, and then we have Women's Soul, and they go on at the same time. But the Women's Circles is still more geared to the earth and the blood and the physical, and then the Women's Soul. There's more crones there and more of the older women who, we've done all the earth stuff. Now we're more into the spirit, and everything is good.